Together, we are making progress against COVID-19 and getting our active lives and economy going again. As businesses unlock their doors and restock their shelves, you remain safer at home. But if you must go out, use the government's guidelines to stay safe. Wear your face covering when entering a business. No face covering, no service. Use hand sanitizer before entering and when leaving a business. And stay at least 6 feet apart. Practice social distancing. Safer at Home USVI is step 3 in our path to a new normal. We're depending on you to do your part. For more information, visit www.vi.gov.
The Virgin Islands Energy Office encourages all residents to continue to follow the recommendations of the VI Department of Health to prevent the spread of COVID-19, the coronavirus, by staying at home and practicing social distancing. With so many of us staying at home, especially during the hottest times of the day, residential energy use and cost is on the rise.
Here are some tips the Virgin Islands Energy Office recommends residents follow to help reduce your energy bill. Properly size your AC unit and make sure all windows and doors are closed and sealed sufficiently. Set the AC thermostat between 75 and 78 degrees and utilize natural cooling whenever possible. Prepare multiple meals for the week at once to avoid reoccurring and extended cooking times. Practice outdoor cooking whenever possible. Try to avoid taking long showers. Wash full loads using cold water and air dry clothes whenever possible.
For more information on energy efficiency and how to get the most out of your federal stimulus checks through the VIEO rebate program, call the Virgin Islands Energy Office or visit our Facebook page.
Good day, Virgin Islanders, at home and abroad. Before I get into today's update, I want to wish all of the nurses in the territory, the hardworking men and women on the front lines at JFL Hospital, Snyder, Regional, and throughout our territory, and all of our health centers and healthcare facilities, schools, wherever you may be, a happy National Nurses Week. I want to wish a special Happy Nurses Week, especially to 2 nurses who have assumed critical positions within the leadership of this COVID-19 and within our health system, Commissioner of Health Justa Encarnacion, and the acting CEO of JFL Hospital, Ms. Daima Williams. Thank you both for your service to the people of the Virgin Islands and health in general. I also want to wish our teachers in the territory a happy Teacher Appreciation Week. We have the Commissioner of Education with us today. A happy Teachers Week to her as well. And thank you on behalf of all the Virgin Islanders for all you do for our students. And we know especially at this time, it's a trying time. So to those of you who are teaching your kids at home, thank you to grandmas, aunties, uncles, whoever you may be. Thank you for your contribution to making the Virgin Islands better. We are especially grateful for your efforts and to keep our students engaged and educated during this very challenging time. So thank you, and thank you. Today we are currently tracking seven active cases of COVID in the territory. So far we have tested 1,112 individuals for COVID-19. 1,006 of those tests have come back negative and 66 positives thus far. As you are aware, unfortunately, we had 4 fatalities to date. As of this morning, we have 40 tests pending. That's 40 tests still pending. There are 2 COVID-19 patients still hospitalized at the Juan F. Louis Hospital. One of them is on a ventilator, and we are praying that they both make it through to a full recovery. There are no COVID patients at the Schneider Regional Medical Center at this time, and they have no people or persons under investigation at this time. This 2-week period that we're going through is a critical time for us as we closely monitor the impact of our relaxation on business activities and begin the path to a new normal where we're dealing with this virus and this pandemic on an ongoing basis. I'd like to thank the community for their cooperation as we go through this time by abiding to the masking guidelines that we have set and other guidelines that we have set in order to keep you safe over this past week. I also want to say a special thank you to all of you who I pass on the streets, meet on the stores. It seems that the behavior has definitely changed in the Virgin Islands, and people are wearing their masks. We've even made a little fun of it, putting some color and style into your mask wearing. So thank you for adjusting in this most difficult of time. We are continuing to take care of the residents in our community who have lost their employment as a result of COVID-19 in this pandemic. And as of this morning in the Virgin Islands Department of Labor, they have received 7,727 applications. That's almost 8,000 applications. 3,000 of those were on paper, and another 4,727 were online application. Of course, this total does not include it does include a few duplicates. 64% of the applications were in the St. John district, and 36% of them were from the St. Croix district. So we're definitely experiencing a little bit more unemployment in St. Thomas due to the tourism nature of the industry over there. The hotels as well have been greatly affected, jewelry stores, restaurants. That's a total of $2.1 million in unemployment benefits to the Virgin Islands residents thus far. So we continue to push on at a good clip. But I want to caution residents today that the unemployment benefit check is a form of taxable income. So don't forego the opportunity to pay your taxes up front, because there'll be a considerable amount of money to pay on the back end if you don't do the right withholding in the front. So if you opt out not to take out the withholding on your unemployment checks, you're going to be faced with those taxes next year when you file. To support our efforts in reconnecting the workforce, I'm also pleased to announce that the Virgin Islands Department of Labor has received a $1.5 million grant from the federal government. The funding is intended to meet increased demand for employment and training, all those services that we need for workers who were unexpectedly laid off due to COVID. So while you're home board, this is a good opportunity to take up an online class and get some training. The Department of Labor makes those benefits available to you as well. They have a cadre of training resources that you can access from home and possibly gain a new skill for free at the cost of the Department of Labor and the federal government. I also want to make another small appeal to my small businesses out there. Please, if you have not done so as yet, please consider getting a payroll protection loan. These loans are 100% forgivable if you use them as the federal government has outlined. That's to pay your employees, to pay rent, to pay utilities. They're going to completely forgive the loan. It does not matter if you have already laid off your employees. You can call them back and still get the money. You qualify if you're self-employed, if you're out there and you are in your own employment, you can go out and get a loan to pay yourself. That loan, too, is forgivable under the federal guidelines. You can apply for the loan. There is plenty of money out there still. The money did run out at one time, but all the money has been replenished. So the loan application is very easy. I was talking to some banks this morning, and they said if you apply today, you will get your money very quickly. One of the things that I want to say is that this is practically a grant that they're giving to you. As long as you use the money to pay your employees, majority of the money, 75%, and then that other 25% you can use to pay utilities and rent or a mortgage. I'd like to say, too, that the banks are saying, encouraging you to come on in and use that. The banks have been cooperating very well. They also said that most of their customers, you residents of the territory, have applied for abatements from your mortgages and whatnot. So that's good, that's going on. Like I told you last week, we've gotten in the approval from Treasury, and this week we actually have received the money now. So what we're doing now is we're going to start sending out these checks. But as we prepare for these checks to be paid out, the Lieutenant Governor and the Division of Banking and Insurance have been in contact with the local banks again to make sure that throughout the territory that you have the information you need concerning these stimulus checks and cashing and depositing them in the local banks. Couple of notes that you need to pay attention to. The stimulus payments will be paid in the form of checks to all Virgin Islanders who filed their 2018 income tax return in the territory. So we tried, but you're going to be getting a check, not direct deposit. So please be mindful that the banks also have reduced hours and reduced staff in order to cash those checks due to this pandemic that we're going through. And they need to protect you, and they need to protect their employees. So if you're going to try to go to the bank to cash your check, you're going to meet a long line. So I encourage those of you who have electronic banking services, which should be most of you, to please take advantage of those options. You can go online or on your phone and download the app to these local banks. They have ways you can deposit that directly into your account. You can take a picture of your check, sign it, you take a picture of your check, and that goes directly into your account. They also have ATM machines where you can get a deposit slip, sign the back of your check, and have that deposited and get your money taken out through the ATM. They also have drop windows where you can fill out the deposit slip again and deposit it there. You do not have to go to the bank directly. So plan ahead, start now. Those checks are going to start to come out. We are going to be issuing them not all one time because we don't want to create the panic at the bank, but there's plenty of money. You don't have to worry. You're going to be getting that check, and they're going to be rolling out next week. So just please bear with the banks, and if you can, deposit your money electronically or stop off at an ATM. Just another note on the mask that I've been noticing around, again, calls from concerned citizens. Ski masks are prohibited. I would suggest that you don't even wear these anywhere. Stocking caps over your face, not permitted. Your mask should not really come any higher than right on the halfway to the bridge of your nose. They shouldn't reach up under your eyes. I'm telling you this because you not only pose a serious threat to store owners because they can't tell if you are a bank robber or a stick-up guy or not, but you also pose a serious threat to yourself, as we wouldn't want somebody mistaking you for that and taking the advantage and assaulting you or shooting you or harming you in some other way. So you need to make sure that you're not mistakenly identified as somebody who is trying to perpetrate a crime. You need to wear your mask properly because you want to keep everybody out there real safe. Another note I want to say, and I've noticed a lot of you driving with your mask on. That's not really a good thing. You want to be able to maintain your airflow, not lose consciousness while you're operating that vehicle. So if you can, if you're not carrying strange passengers, you're in there with your family, try to get some ventilation, get yourself breathing there, because there are all types of masks that are being used, and each one has a different level of breathability, for lack of a better word, the ability for oxygen to pass in and out, and we don't want you to be using the wrong mask and put yourself in any harm. I've also received concerns from people who have respiratory or other illnesses that cannot wear a mask. We are asking proprietors to exercise a little judgment in this case in allowing these people who cannot wear a mask into their establishment. At the very least, if the customer is presenting you with a ventilator, an inhaler or medication that they're taking in order to prove that they have asthma or some other respiratory disease, please let them in. And to those of you who have these illnesses, please send somebody else to the store. If you can't, then you can't, and you must go in there yourself or gas station. Just protect yourself as much as possible. And if you find it to be getting to be a problem, then get a doctor's note so you could just show the proprietor or who's ever at the door that you have a note saying that you have a certified respiratory illness. We have printed the no mask, no service signs. I am seeing them up in all your businesses as I traverse the territory. I am really happy about that. I was walking past the bakery this morning on my morning walk, boom, right up there. The signs are very, very attention-getting, so people know if you're coming in coming into the store, you need to wear a mask. You know, the other thing I saw this morning as I was traversing, I saw an individual carrying a child into the store. They had on their mask, but the child didn't have the mask. If you can, leave the babies in the car with somebody else or home under care. Don't leave them in a car by themselves. Leave them under the care of another individual. And if you're going to take them in the store, make sure the babies are protected as well. Remember, only if they're under 2 or they have some respiratory illness, they have to be exempted from the mask. If they're over 2, they don't have any respiratory illness, please mask down the children. Protect them as much as possible. Remember, you're safer at home under this decree that we're doing here. Property and Procurement and DLCA in both districts have those signs. If you haven't gotten your sign yet, you could certainly call the departments and get a copy of your sign. The numbers are 727-7226 on St. Croix and 771-7226 on St. Thomas. DLCA, they'll get you. So, one of the reasons why we were under a little pressure or we really wanted to ease the restriction on what was going on was your mental health. This is a very stressful time for everyone, and residents really need to do something for your mental health. I want to talk about this from a personal perspective. I'm not a person who, I don't really express any stress. I don't really succumb to stress as much as you can see from this pandemic, but stress comes in a lot of different ways. There's a stress of a huge problem that you're dealing with and it really stresses you out. I go through that a lot. But then there's a constant stress that comes from being in a situation where you can't do your normal activity. And that kind of stress is the kind of stress that a lot of people are going to feel, and you might not recognize it. It may come out in irritability, fatigue, just not feeling quite like yourself, and others may be noticing it before you. So in light of this, we really wanted to do things to help VI residents, and we thinking of things we could do. One of the things that the Hotel Association said to me, they said, hey, can VI residents check into hotels for staycations? And we said, okay, because you're already in the Virgin Islands, that's not a problem. So VI residents are allowed to check into VI hotels for staycations. So if you've been displaced from your home for any reason, you can check in at a VI hotel. If you want to go inter-island travel, that is fine as well too, while we go through this pandemic. A weekend away from your home and your immediate needs, sometime on the beach is really a good way to vent if you some stress, if you can afford that or you can do that. We've also allowed for the dive shops, day sales, and excursions to operate using the same protocols as any other business. We didn't specifically ban them last time, but I've been getting a lot of calls about this. This is considered a non-essential business, and just like any other non-essential business, they are free to operate. So if you feel like going out on a day sail, going fishing with your friends, those services are now open. Well, they've been open since Monday, but we do want to do anything that we can do to add some relief to these stressful times. The thing we've learned through this whole pandemic is that the best defense is against the spread of this pandemic in our community is our residents having access to information. That's why we do these press conferences. We were doing them 3 times a week. Now we're doing 2 times a week. We have the websites, not only from CDC, but at the Department of Health, Department of Education. We have Facebook, pumping information to you, radio advertisements. As you see, we have our 2 PSAs that played before this, just getting information to you any single way we can about the virus. And in order to do this even better and to protect you and protect your loved ones, what we did is we got with Google and we got them to optimize our searches for COVID USVI so that now, in a major way, they're helping us to make sure that if anytime you go on to Google and look for anything on COVID USVI, all the information will pop up. You can easily access it. It will give you the most recent news, any updates. It will even give you the count of how many people we have in the territory who have been recovered, who are suffering from the pandemic, and how many fatalities we have. So we work with Google and we got that going, just trying to make sure that you have the most information. So coronavirus USVI, COVID USVI, whatever it is, just Google it and you will get the best in the information, testing, quarantine guidelines, as well as the event and any closures that we may have. In closing, I'd like to say today is the National Day of Prayer, and I encourage everyone at some point today, as you should every day, to pray and reflect on our many blessings that we have as a community, and remind you all that this too shall pass. Remember, stay safe and stay sanitized. You're going to have some updates from the Department of Education. We have Commissioner Racquel Benjamin here with us, and then of course we'll open it up to questions. Our Commissioner of Health is here to field any questions from the press as well. Commissioner Berry.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, Virgin Islands community. I am Racquel Benjamin, Commissioner of Education, bringing you greetings from the Virgin Islands Department of Education. Join me in wishing all Virgin Islands teachers a happy Teacher Appreciation Week, as well as a happy Nurses Week for 2020. Teachers and nurses, thank you for all that you do and your dedication to our students and families here in the Virgin Islands, especially during this unprecedented time in our history. My staff and I continue to work closely with the VI Board of Education to ensure the issuing of students' final grades for the 2019-2020 school year is a fair and equitable process, given the disruptions caused by COVID-19. Since my previous announcement on April 22nd, the VIDE has met with the Board of Education to reaffirm both entities' commitment to a fair process for all students. As such, students' overall final averages will be calculated using only final averages from the first, second, and third marking periods. An average of 70% earned by March 17, 2020 is the required passing minimum grade for all students, as established by the VI Board of Education. An academic enhancement recovery period is through June 4th, 2020. For secondary and elementary students with 70% average or higher by March 17th, 2020. Students who have already earned a passing grade of at least 70% in the third marking period may use the academic enhancement recovery period to improve their third marking period grade. For secondary students with less than 70% average by March 17th, 2020, with a failing third marking period grade, may use the academic enhancement recovery period to earn a passing grade. Students who failed a first semester course should contact their guidance counselor to create a plan to recover the credit or credits. Elementary students with less than 70% average by March 17, 2020, with a failing third marking period grade, may use the academic enhancement recovery period to earn a passing grade. And as usual, this information is posted on our website and Facebook page. After having explored and given serious consideration to many of your ideas on how best to host 2020 graduations, the VI Department of Education has concluded that 100% virtual graduations will be conducted for the class of 2020, given the current health crisis. Graduation dates are Tuesday, May 26, 2020, for St. Croix Central High School, Wednesday, May 27, 2020, for the St. Croix Educational Complex High School, Thursday, May 28, 2020, for the Ivana Udorakin High School, and Friday, May 29, 2020, for the Charlotte Amalia High School. The Department of Education recognizes there's nothing that compares to the experience of walking across the stage, being congratulated by local leaders, and receiving your hard-earned diploma in the presence of your teachers, family, friends, and community. But while your graduation this year may look different, it won't be any less special. Seniors, you are members of a unique class graduating in a year unlike any other. You will be a part of a virtual global graduating class, which we invite you to attend on May 16th, when former President Barack Obama and others will salute you. Details will be shared with you. You are pioneers in the VI and across the Caribbean in the space of virtual graduations, which is something I believe will be a part of our society's new normal. The truth is, we are all still in the midst of a deadly pandemic and must act responsibly and do everything we can to keep each other safe. Students, parents, community, let us embrace our virtual graduations as a wonderful new learning experience for all of us. Additionally, I am pleased to report that the department's distribution of laptops and MiFi internet devices has been successful. Thank you, students and parents, for your cooperation in practicing social distancing during this process. It is our commitment to following the guidelines that will get us through this process safely and healthy. A special thank you to Omega Psi Phi fraternity for donating 30 MiFi devices to students in the St. Croix district. This week, the St. Croix district added 3 additional meal distribution sites to accommodate more families. Arthur A. Richards, Wim Ball Park, and the Williams Delight Community Center. Breakfast and lunch may be picked up at all distribution sites from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. each day. Again, breakfast and lunch may be picked up at all distribution sites from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. each day. Thank you to my Brothers Workshop for partnering with the VI Department of Education in service to our community. In closing, I wish to extend my gratitude to the hardworking employees of the VI Department of Education who continue to provide essential services to students and families during this time, to our counselors, our nurses, food service workers, school monitors, bus drivers, teachers, and administrators, support staff of the Virgin Islands Department of Education. Thank you for your dedication. For regular updates on the VI Department of Education, please follow us on Facebook and visit our website at www.vide.vi, and be sure to email us at public.relations@vide.vi to address your questions and concerns. We will get through this together. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for that update. It is a real depressing time. I mean, I've thought about it a lot. Graduation. I'd like to take this opportunity to say congratulations to my daughter who is graduating this year and all the graduates. My heart goes out to you, but we want to keep you safe. I mean, I thought about this every single way. We explored doing it on fields, if we did it one by one, and decided that it's just safer if we do the virtual graduation at this time. I even thought about postponing it, but we know many of you will be off to college by July and August, when it would be a little safer in order to do this. May is always a big month for us. There's a lot of things happening. I want to give another shout out to the tourism and travel workers, as this is Tourism and Travel Week. That's a big part of what we do here, so thank you all for what you do. But probably most importantly, this is Public Service Recognition Week, and usually government employees have a huge week of celebration. There are lots of flowers, employees being recognized for their service to the people of the Virgin Islands. From each department, we pick two individuals, and then we give them an award. It is a fantastic event. Started quite a tradition here in the Virgin Islands. It's usually done in a big venue. We weren't able to do that this year, and we have printed those employees' names in the newspaper, and know that we truly, truly, truly appreciate your service, and congratulations. Yet another thing that we can't do this year due to this pandemic, but this pandemic is going to be over, I promise you that. And we'll get back to the business of being Virgin Islanders. So without further ado, I'll take some questions. I know we got one on the line waiting for us. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, Governor. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Robert Moore with the VI Consortium.
Hi, Robert.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. A couple of questions for you, sir, and one question for Commissioner Encarnacion. Governor, you encourage small businesses to take advantage, as quickly as possible, take advantage of the Paycheck Protection Program loans, or small business loans. But we know from our publication's own research last week that at least one fairly large business, the Ritz-Carlton St. Thomas, availed itself through its corporate owners of at least $5 million in these loans intended for small businesses. A related company affiliated with Ritz-Carlton, also received a little over $400,000 in small business loans. I'm curious, what do you say to those large companies, even publicly traded companies here in the Virgin Islands, that would apply or attempt to avail themselves of those loans intended for small businesses?
I mean,
what do you say to them?
Robert, you always manage to ask me these controversial questions. I say take the loan. And I say because that money is going to be spent in the Virgin Islands. It's like encouraging people not to take SNAP or TANF or any other program in the Virgin Islands, there's plenty of money still for businesses to take care of. The fund ran out, it was replenished. There are opportunities to take the money. Take the money because that money is going to be put into our economy. It's going to pay employees. Remember, 75% of the money they take is to pay employees. It will pay employees. It will be able for them to pay their rents and mortgages here in the Virgin Islands. That money is money that is money that those employees would not have, that wouldn't go to our grocery stores, that wouldn't go to our landlords, that wouldn't go to our shops and other things that in the Virgin Islands. So take the money. I know there was a lot of controversy around that, but if you're here in the Virgin Islands and you need it, it's available for you, take it. I often had to convince friends of mine to file for unemployment benefits when they get laid off. It's a benefit that the business pays in order for you to get it, workman's compensation, whatever it may be. If there's a benefit out there, Virgin Islanders, take advantage of it, because it doesn't come out of the Virgin Islands government coffers. It comes out of the federal government coffers. That's new money coming into the territory, and that money that you have in your pocket, you could keep that and spend that on something else right here in the Virgin Islands as well. Any other questions?
Okay, so you're comfortable with those? So you're comfortable that that large corporation will spend that money here in the Virgin Islands?
Oh, the ones that are here, if they're spending it in the States, they're taking it anyway. The thing that concerned me at first was that it ran out of money, and I was like, well, you know, it's a shame that the small businesses weren't allowed to get the money before, but they replenished the fund, and there's still more money in there. I think the first one ran out in a matter of like a week or two. But there's more money in there. And in fact, you know, I was on a line with a bank today, and they said they're running out of applications to process. So I know there are a lot of you out there who need money, so go and get that money. It's free money.
Okay, thank you. And one final question for Commissioner Encarnacion. I understand there are at least 5 healthcare workers or first responders in the territory that have contracted COVID-19. Can you tell us, is there anything more you can tell us about how those individuals were infected? Was it at the workplace? And have we contact traced whether any patients who had close contact with those healthcare workers or first responders have themselves been tested?
Good afternoon. Thanks for that question. The healthcare workers, that's a risk. Unfortunately, that nurses as well as physicians, all healthcare workers, first responders take upon entering into the business, basically. And unfortunately, we had 5 that became positive after contacting a patient that was positive. And so that's one of the reasons why we stress the need for appropriate and adequate supply of PPEs to our healthcare workers. And in reference to the contact tracing, everything was completed. That's why we were able to put that under control as soon as we did, because as soon as we found the positive case, the epidemiology team worked tirelessly to conduct contact tracing. So yes, that was completed.
Okay, thank you. So those 5 healthcare workers, first responders, had contact with one test positive individual for which they contracted the virus?
Yeah, and let me just say that's the reason why it's so important to follow the guidances that we're giving you right now, because that one person created over 70 contact tracings that was done. So we actually tested quite a bit of individuals during that week because of that reason. Not everyone was positive, thank God for that, but it really did allow us to be able to test. I think it was like 78 patients, people that were actually tested. And so, like I said, we have to make sure, wear your mask, wash your hands, stay away from those that are sick, as well as take care of yourselves. I think it's very important. These guidances that are presented to you are presented for your safety and for the safety of the people around you.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure.
That looks like it. No more questions. Going once, going twice. Just like to say, as we head into the weekend, remember, behave on the beach. I think that's going to be our new moniker, behave on the beach. Please, it's gonna be hot. It's a hot weekend. We're gonna be people are gonna be bored. Just keep your social distances. Leave the speaker system and the DJs at home. Leave the alcohol and the food at home. Take a little dip, and get on about your business, back to doing things. So really appreciate you. Just letting everybody know it's fast approaching hurricane season. So we are doing our stuff to get ready for the hurricane season and getting prepared. We suggest that you start thinking about it as well too. A special note to all the Seventh-day Adventists out there, and this is the second church that was lost in a matter of 3 years, totally destroyed. My heart and prayers go out to you, to those parishioners directly affected by this last fire here in the territory. I stopped by yesterday to say hello, but words cannot convey the distress of having your place of worship burn essentially down to the ground. So prayers go out to you this weekend. Continue to do what you do, and remember, stay safe and stay sanitized. The Spanish version of this will be on next. Have a good afternoon and a safe weekend. God bless you.
De Snyder. Este periodo de 2 semanas es un momento crítico, ya que nos encontramos monitoreando de cerca el impacto de nuestra relajación en cuanto a las actividades de negocios y comenzamos el camino hacia la nueva normalidad. Me gustaría agradecer a la comunidad por su cooperación al seguir con las pautas de máscaras y las otras directrices que presentamos la semana pasada. Seguimos atendiendo a los residentes de nuestra comunidad que han perdido su empleo como resultado de esta pandemia. A partir de esta mañana, el Departamento de Trabajo de las Islas Vírgenes ha recibido 7,727 solicitudes, 3,000 solicitudes en papel y 4,727 de esas solicitudes en línea. Este total incluye algunos duplicados. El 64% de las solicitudes en línea son del distrito de San Tomás, St. John, y el otro 36% son de Santa Cruz. El Departamento de Trabajo ha procesado 3,100 cheques de desempleo por un total de 2.1 millón en beneficios de desempleo para residentes de las Islas Vírgenes. Quiero advertir a los residentes que el cheque de beneficio por desempleo es una forma de ingreso imponible. Habrá una cantidad considerable de dólares a pagar en impuestos si no opta por retirar los impuestos de retención ahora en adelantado. Para apoyar nuestros esfuerzos en la reconexión de la fuerza del trabajo, me complace anunciar que el Departamento de Trabajo de las Islas Vírgenes ha recibido una beca de 1.5 millones del gobierno federal. Estos fondos están destinados a satisfacer el aumento de la demanda de empleo y entrenamiento para los trabajadores que fueron despedidos inesperadamente debido a COVID-19. Quiero hacer otro llamado a mis pequeñas empresas a considerar obtener un préstamo de protección de nómina. Estos préstamos son 100% perdonables si usted utiliza el dinero como lo describe el gobierno federal. No importa si ya ha despedido a sus empleados, puede llamarlos de nuevo y aún calificar. Si usted trabaja por cuenta propia y usted es su único empleado, puede solicitar el préstamo para pagarse a sí mismo. Aún queda dinero y el proceso de solicitud es fácil. Sería absurdo si se pierde lo que es esencialmente una beca del gobierno federal. Mientras nos preparamos para la llegada de fondos para pagar cheques de estímulo, el teniente gobernador y la División de Banca y Seguro ha estado en contacto con los bancos locales en todo el territorio. Me han pedido que comparta alguna información con ustedes sobre el depósito o canjeo de su cheque de estímulo. Los pagos de estímulos se realizarán a los virgen isleños que presentaron su declaración de impuestos del año 2018 en el territorio. Estos se recibirán a través de un cheque. Tenga en cuenta que los bancos están operando con personal limitado y bajo plazas restringidos debido a la pandemia de COVID-19. Los bancos deben proteger a sus empleados y a sus clientes. Animo encarecidamente a aquellos de ustedes que pueden utilizar los servicios de banca electrónica a que por favor tomen ventaja de esa opción. Utilice la aplicación móvil de sus bancos para depositar su cheque en su cuenta desde su dispositivo si puede. Una nota sobre máscaras. Máscaras que cubren toda la cabeza, máscaras de esquiar y máscaras que cubren más de la mitad del puente nasal están estrictamente prohibidas. Estas máscaras no solo representan una seria amenaza para los dueños de tienda, ya que las personas se ven similares a los ladrones armados, sino que proponen una amenaza seria para el usuario, ya que puede ser identificado erróneamente como un perpetrador y terminar siendo agredido. Por favor, use sus máscaras de manera responsable. También he recibido inquietudes de personas que tienen enfermedades respiratorias u otras enfermedades que no pueden usar una máscara. Pedimos a los propietarios que ejerzan algún juicio al permitir que las personas que no pueden llevar máscara en su establecimiento. Por lo menos, el cliente que presenta un inhalador como prueba de su estado debe ser suficiente para que se admita en la tienda. También recomendamos, si es posible, para que estas personas pasen el menor tiempo posible en las tiendas y para obtener una nota del médico como un medio para demostrar que sufren de problemas respiratorios. Hemos imprimido letreros sin máscara, sin servicio para las empresas y estas están disponibles. Pueden obtener su rótulo llamando al Departamento de Licencias y Asuntos del Consumidor al 340-727-7226 en Santa Cruz y en San Tomás al 340-771-7226. Este es un momento estresante para todos y los residentes necesitan cuidar de su salud mental. Teniendo en cuenta esto, me gustaría alertar a los residentes que los hoteles pueden tomar reservaciones para los residentes y viajeros de negocios. Por lo tanto, si ha sido desplazado fuera de su casa por alguna razón o simplemente quiere pasar el fin de semana fuera de su casa, puede hacerlo. También hemos permitido que las tiendas de buceo, veleros y excursiones operen utilizando los mismos protocolos comerciales que cualquier otro negocio. Esperamos poder añadir cierto alivio y actividad en estos momentos más estresantes. Lo que hemos aprendido a lo largo de esta pandemia es que la mejor defensa contra la propagación de este virus en nuestra comunidad es que nuestros residentes tengan acceso a la información precisa y confiable sobre el virus y cómo protegerse a sí mismo y a sus seres queridos. Quiero hacer mención especial a Google, al ayudarnos de una manera importante mediante la optimización de nuestra información local y sitios web en su página de búsqueda para los residentes para encontrar y acceder fácilmente información. Si googlea coronavirus y USVI o COVID y USVI, encontrará información sobre los últimos casos, información sobre las directrices de pruebas y cuarentena, eventos y cierres. Hoy es el Día Nacional de Oración y animo a todos que en algún momento de hoy reflexionen y oren sobre nuestras muchas bendiciones que tenemos como comunidad y recordarles a todos que esto también pasará. Recuerda mantenerte sano y desinfectado. Feliz Día de las Madres a todas aquellas madres, abuelas, tías, hermanas, a todas. Felicidades. Dios les bendiga y Dios bendiga a las Islas Vírgenes. Gracias.